Hi, welcome back to another coffee talk. For those of you who are not familiar with coffee talks, it's a series I have on this channel where every Friday I sit down with a cup of coffee. I sip on it while I talk about different topics that have been on my mind for the past week. And this week is no exception. My coffee this week is not that good. It's really bitter and I haven't put enough creamer. And I should be enjoying coffee the way that it is, But it's a little hard today. But obviously, and as always, this is not the topic of this week's coffee talk. Today, we are talking about being single and actually enjoying it. That is right, we are back with another topic that's related to relationships. Because that's what my brain has been going through lately. I've been asking myself a lot of questions about what I want in relationships and the fact that I actually enjoy being single. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How to enjoy the single life. Cheers to that. I'm not going to lie to you. I've spent the majority of my 20s looking for the perfect boyfriend and getting bored of being single and always dating, pretty much. During those years, I only had one actual relationship that lasted for a year and a half. So during all of that other time, I was pretty much looking for another relationship, looking for the perfect boyfriend, looking to engage in a relationship and wanting to find a partner. And I would start this cycle of feeling lonely, then dating, then being disappointed, then starting to date someone else again, then being too disappointed to start again, then wanting to stop dating, but then start it all over again. So feeling lonely, then dating, and you get the point. And it honestly kind of just became a habit, and I felt like if I wasn't dating anyone, if I wasn't seeing anyone, I was wasting this time. And so dating kind of become like almost some sort of entertainment, and whatever free time I had, I would spend it on going on a date or getting ready for a date or talking about a date or planning a date, saying it out loud now sounds very... It is what it is. I'm being real with you and I'm sharing, honestly, my truest and deepest self. And that was what I was doing for a while. Obviously, I wouldn't say that I'm proud of it, but it was a way for me to value myself and to make sure that I was valuable to others, that I was being appreciated by others, and that I had this attraction, that I could attract people. It was a way for me to get some sort of approval and validation. And instead of getting it through family members or friends, I got it through dating. Strangers, literally. I got my approval from strangers. Yeah. But at some point I got tangled up and I got honestly overwhelmed and disappointed to the point where I had to stop dating. I had to put an end to it, or at least put a pause to it. So this is when I decided to delete all dating apps, and I did a whole other video dedicated to that. And honestly, it really helped me, because for me, being on dating apps, it was, yes, very entertaining and it became a habit, but it was also very toxic because I was spending so much time on there and I was meeting so many people that I didn't actually... Honestly, some of them I weren't even truly interested in. It was just like, yeah, might as well. Why not give this guy a chance? And I want to believe that everything's worth a try. And so you have to try before you deny. And I applied that to dating. But it landed me in some situations where I felt uncomfortable, where I felt angry, where I felt frustrated, disappointed. Name it all, I felt it all. So at that point, I had to take a step back and I had to reevaluate what I needed, what I wanted. And I had to ask myself, why am I even dating in the first place? And who do I want to date? Who do I want to meet? And it really helped me to stay off dating apps for a while. And obviously, it became very much difficult to meet people organically because who does that? Obviously, there are ways to meet people organically, like through friends, at a bar, at a party, at a festival. But I just didn't really see it happening for me. And honestly, I wasn't really putting myself out there. And I just wasn't really putting myself in situations where I could actually meet people because one, I was either not physically there or I was not emotionally there. So taking that time off was beneficial for me until fall came around and I felt lonely again because cuffing season is real. Let's be honest. So when fall came around the corner, I re-downloaded Hinge. I'm sorry, but I did it. Long story short, I actually met a couple of people who were really interesting this time, and I went into it with no expectations, and my mindset had shifted a little bit when I started dating again because I was more affirmative. I knew what I wanted, I knew what I didn't want, and I had some sort of, I guess, better standards than what I used to have. And so it helped me to meet people who were actually decent this time. But then one thing led to another, and here I am still single. And this time, actually, I'm enjoying it. And here's why. I've come to realize that I am so much more than the relationships and the situationships that I'm in. I used to believe that it was the most interesting thing about me. I used to define myself by how successful my love life was. And honestly, the people surrounding me kind of went that route too, because every time they would see me, they would ask me about my love life and about the guy I was currently seeing. And for a while, that's pretty much the only thing I had to talk about that I felt was interesting. But now I realize that I am so much more than that. I have so many other things that I can talk about. And I have all these interests and I have all these thoughts and opinions that I can share, and I can have conversations about so many other things than my relationships. And in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, it's actually no one's business how my love life is going. And if I want to talk about it, I should be the one initiating the conversation. People shouldn't be coming up to me and asking me about my love life unless I am the one bringing the subject to the table. To be frank, I sometimes find myself asking those same questions to my friends because that's usually what we tend to go towards in conversations when we want to catch up. It seems like this is the area of our lives where there's the most juice, I guess, and there's the more, I don't know, meat around the bone. But it shouldn't be a reflex for us to go towards that immediately. It should be our last resort in terms of topics and conversation, you know? Anyway, I feel like I'm getting lost here, so let's come back to the whole single life thing and how it's actually enjoyable. As I said, not only I've realized that I'm so much more than the relationships I'm in, but I've realized that there are so many other things to explore in this world. And I'm an actual whole human being, even if I don't have a partner. I am an individual to start with, so I have my own thoughts, my own hobbies, I have my own schedule, I have my own interests, and this is what I'm currently relying on. Because too many times in the past, I would plan my schedule around somebody else's, or I would become interested in this topic because the person I was seeing was interested in that topic. And I would adapt my personality and my hobbies to whoever I was seeing, which is, I guess, a strength, but could also be a weakness because I lost myself sometime in the process of wanting to please others and wanting to relate instead of wanting to just share. You know? So now, instead of filling the gaps in my schedule with dates like I used to, I fill those gaps with things I'm interested in, with hobbies, with reading, with things that bring me joy and peace and make me feel creative and that nourish this part of me that needs to be fed which is self-love. I need to give myself more love. So now instead of going towards dates to get this sense of approval and validation, I go towards myself. Did you see that coming? And obviously this takes time and reflection and introspection, but being able to shift that energy and that, I guess, perspective really is beneficial for you as a human being, as an individual. You should try it. And again, just like for many things I talk about in these coffee talks, it's easier said than done, but it's worth the try. Don't get me wrong. I know that there are things that even self-love cannot provide for you when you're single, such as physical touch, for example. And it's normal and it's okay to seek that kind of human connection. But you have to ask yourself the right questions. Because let's be honest here for a second. If you wanted to, you could probably land yourself in a relationship in the next month. But would that be someone you'd actually want to be with? Is that someone who would be able to provide for you, not necessarily financially, but who would meet all of your needs and who would listen to you and who would actually care for you? Would that be someone you'd actually want as a partner? Most likely the answer is probably not. Without being too critical and picky, you should have standards and you should allow yourself to take the time to know what you want. So when you meet the one, you know they're right for you and you don't just end up with someone who was at the right place at the right time. Obviously, there's a lot that comes into play when we're talking about relationship and values and needs and love languages, but you should really take that time and figure out what you want and what you don't want. And that's how you enjoy being single. So if I could sum it all up, I'd say that the key to enjoy the single life is to invest in yourself, invest in your hobbies and your passions. Use that free time to do what you like, to think, to reflect, to do some introspection, to ask yourself the right questions. And honestly, being single is not that bad. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. I truly, truly, truly mean it. Hopefully I have made a little difference in your day today. If you would like to make a difference in mine, you know what to do. And I'm going to wish you in bonne journée.